To Thursday Night Live. I'm your host, Dr. Rita Louise, and thank you all for tuning into the show tonight. We're going to have actually a really good show. Today, we're going to talk about deprogramming. And everyone seemed to really enjoy the kind of hands-on exercise we did last week, where we did grounding, where you created a line of energy from the base of your spine down to the center of the planet, where you were able to let go of energy that you were holding on to. And so we're going to briefly revisit that, but then move on to a different concept called deprogramming. And I'm doing this because one of our regular people, Wendy Dillard, made a comment or asked a question if you could be selective about what energy you let go of while grounding. And you kind of can't. You know, grounding is really about just letting the body let go of whatever is not serving its highest purpose. Where deprogramming, you can be a lot more specific about the energy that you move out of the body and move out of the auric field. And so that's what we're going to tackle coming up here in a second. But I want to give people an opportunity to kind of come in. And I have gotten a couple of new reviews on Amazon, and I wanted to share one with you. And it's interesting because it seems like a common thread through these reviews is it feels like you're sitting next to her having a conversation, or it's like chatting with a friend, or let's see, it's like talking to your next door neighbor or best friend, you know? So I guess that's what people think. They're like hanging out, we're chilling, drinking some wine, talking about, dang, it was me all along. Anyway, let me read this review, and then we will start talking about deprogramming. And so this is from Elisa. See, I can never remember which ones I've read. Anyway, I'll read this one. This is from Victoria. What a fantastic book. Right from the dedication, I knew I was going to love this. I connected on so many levels with Dr. Rita, and halfway through, I realized the book reads so smoothly. It's like chatting with an old friend. The advice is so easy to follow, and Dr. Rita has a way with words. I found the book very warm and friendly and resonated with so many of the chapters in this book. I highly recommend this book to everyone who is searching for happiness. As Dorothy says, if you ever go looking for your heart's desire again, I won't go looking any further than my own backyard. How cool is that? Thank you, Victoria. But okay, so let's talk deprogramming. And so deprogramming is an energy medicine technique that you can use to locate and move, shift, release, whatever word you want to put there, the energy of and I'm going to say emotion, of a specific vibration from your body and your auric field. And so I'm going to describe the process, and then we're all going to get to practice it. And so hopefully this is going to work, you know, in this setting. I've never really tried doing this in a stream, so we're going to find out. And so as we're doing this, so I'm going to describe it, but as we're doing it, as our group is doing it, my hope is that you will have some kind of an experience, notice something, it was easy, it wasn't easy, whatever comes up for you, and that you'll share it in the chat when we're done. You know, so I would really like to hear your experience, because doing intuitive work, doing energy medicine, it really is an experience, and it's experiential. It's not something you can just read about in a book and expect to have an experience, because the experience is the experience. And the more you have experiences, then the more validation you get, and the stronger that intuition or your ability to work with energy becomes. So when you do deprogramming, so you can do deprogramming on a person, so not yourself, but we're going to talk about deprogramming the self. And actually, hang on one second, because I want to, Wendy's here. Okay. So Wendy, this one's for you. So when you do deprogramming and when you're working on yourself, I'm going to say it that way. So if you've ever taken a Reiki class, and when you take Reiki 1, it's about self-healing, and they tell you, put your hands here, put your hands here, and do all this touching. And I don't find it particularly effective. What I prefer is, if I'm working on myself, that I imagine that I can see myself in the chair across from me. If it's challenging to see myself in the chair, which is not for me, but for other people, they might put a doll or a stuffed animal in the chair across from them so that they can use that for their visualization point. But for this exercise, since you probably don't have a chair and probably don't have a doll and whatever, we're going to use the image of a gingerbread man. And if I was smart, I would have a picture of a gingerbread man to share with you, but I don't. But I think we all know what a gingerbread man looks like. And so to do this, we're going to close our eyes, and in our hand, and this is the part I like the most, you're going to have some magic purple dust. Magic purple dust. And you're going to take this handful of magic purple. First, you're going to pick an emotion that you would like to deprogram. So whether that's anger or resentment or loneliness or fear or whatever, you have to ask yourself, what do I want to deprogram? And once you have that word in your mind, you're going to take this magic purple dust and you're going to throw it gently at your gingerbread man and allow it to fall on its form. And wherever there is that energy, so let's say you picked resentment as your emotion. And so wherever resentment is sitting in the body, that magic purple dust will stick and turn black. And then wherever you see it, I just want you to wipe it off, scrape it off, take a spatula and clean it off. Whatever it occurs to you to do, a feather duster, use that tool, use that device to clean the magic purple dust off, which is now black. Now, sometimes it'll come off easy. You can take the feather duster and it goes off really good. Sometimes it's a little bit more challenging because it's a little more stuck in the body. And you might need, I like the spatula because you can kind of scrape with it. You can, take a scrubby pad and scrub on it, like a Mr. Clean Magic Erase pad, and use that, maybe hose it down to have that go. And we're going to have that go down our grounding cord. So we're going to start off with creating a new grounding cord in present time. And we're going to do 2 to 3 rounds of this. And it's actually very quick, very simple, but we're going to do 2 to 3 rounds because we do it and we think, okay, I got rid of it. But many times you throw that magic purple dust back on your gingerbread man and you find more, or you find it in a different place, or you haven't gotten rid of all of it. And so we're going to do it. We're going to do it 3 times. I've decided 3 times, 2 times on the front, 1 time on the back, because stuff sticks on our back and we often don't pay attention to that. So that's the goal. That's what we're going to do. Okay. Are you guys ready? Are you ready to do some deprogramming? So before I start talking and walking through this exercise, perhaps it's time to pick an emotion that you want to let go of. Um, so, for example, I talked about resentment, but there's fear or constantly feeling annoyed or disgust or sadness or disappointment or guilt. I mean, guilt is always a good one. Um, you might feel stressed or, just discomfort, in your body and in yourself, or depression or whatever. So I want everyone to just take a moment to pick the emotion that they want to work on. You might want to start by taking a couple of deep breaths. So the emotion I'm going to pick for myself is overwhelm. I have a lot going on. And so I've been going through these periods of feeling extremely overwhelmed. So I'm going to be doing this right along with you. And I'm just going to let you know. So whenever I do energy work on myself or somebody else, a lot of the times I start yawning. So just ignore the yawning part on my end. But if you find yourself yawning, or burping or farting or having the hair on your arm stand on their ends, know that that's just part of the release process, and it's just part of the energy shifting process. Okay, so I'd like for everyone to go ahead and close your eyes and just allow yourself as spirit to come back to your body and settle into it completely. And let's just take a couple of nice deep breaths right here. So if you were here last week and got to practice or experience the grounding exercise, that's what we're going to do first. For everyone else, you're going to learn a new tool. So what I'd like for you to do, so a grounding cord is a line of energy that goes from the base of the spine down to the center of the planet. I like using a hollow tube like your bathtub drain because it gives the energy someplace to go. But for right now, I'd like for you to shake loose your old grounding cord and let it just fall off and go down to the center of the planet. And then take a couple of another nice deep breaths and allow a new grounding cord, a new tube, a new redwood tree, a new waterfall or a beam of light to start coming from the base of the spine all the way down to the center of the planet. And a nice healthy grounding cord is, like a 4-inch pipe. That's a 4-inch pipe. Like what you have coming out of your house, like one of them nice big round pipes. That's a good size to have your grounding cord. Who wants a grounding cord that's that big? It's too little. You want it to be good and massive. So allow that pipe to come from the base of the spine and anchor all the way to the center of the planet. And let's go ahead and open up that first chakra by turning the knob, like in the bathtub, to turn the water on and allow it to flow down your grounding cord. Any energy that is discordant to your body or you're not using anymore or is from what went on during the day that you're having the opportunity to let it go and come back to the present, come back to higher vibrating emotions that are the authentic you. And let's take one more nice deep breath. Great. Now I want you to imagine, so in your mind's eye that you can see a gingerbread man. And I have to tell you, my gingerbread man looks like a piece of paper with a gingerbread man on it. It doesn't look like a cookie or anything. And I want you to take your handful of imaginary magic purple dust and throw it at the gingerbread man, like on top, kind of like confetti, and just allow it to sit wherever it wants to in the body. And notice where it's resting and has turned black. And so for me, where I'm seeing it, it's actually kind of interesting. I am noticing it in my right arm joint. I'm noticing it in my like hip flexors, in my the upper part of my thighs, and in my back, which actually does kind of make sense. I've been working a lot, and getting up and getting down has been like, always have to have a sound effect. And I am just going to take my fingers and knock all of that black off. So I'm hoping that you have taken your magic purple dust and tossed it over at your gingerbread man, noticed where it's sitting in your body, and using your hand to clean it off, a feather duster to clean it off, a spatula, a spoon. It really doesn't matter what tool you use in order to take it off. And I'm just going through and I'm kind of working on what I'm seeing in my thighs. And whatever I'm knocking off, I'm just allowing it to go down my grounding cord, just out of my auric field, out of my body, and away from me. And again, I said that I was seeing some on my spine, so I'm going ahead and I'm cleaning that up as well. Ooh. Okay. And I'll give you another few seconds to work on that. And when you feel like you're done, don't open your eyes. Just maybe take a couple of nice deep breaths to own what's going on. And then I want you to take another handful of magic purple dust and toss it like confetti over your gingerbread man. And notice if it falls in the same places, or maybe it is landing somewhere else in your body. And so for me, this time where I'm seeing some magic purple dust that is now black, because this is the next layer. This is the layer that's sitting below the one we just cleared. It's kind of sitting around my heart center and my stomach. So kind of like this core area here. So I'm just going to go ahead, and again, you do the same thing. Let's just knock off that purple dust, clean it up, make our gingerbread man all nice and sparkly, because we want sparkly energy. Allow whatever we're knocking off to go down our grounding cord to the center of the planet to be recycled, because energy is energy. It's not good. It's not bad. It's just energy. Ooh. And a couple more seconds. And take a few nice deep breaths. And notice how you feel now that you've done this. Are you feeling a little lighter? Are you feeling a little more, excuse me, centered? Are you feeling calmer? Do you have more clarity in the moment? Maybe if it was sitting in some part of your body, maybe that part of your body actually feels a little bit better. Like I was noticing a lot sitting in my spine, although, I haven't done the back. So I want everybody to turn your gingerbread man around so you can see his back, look at his butt, and let's do the same thing. Take that magic purple dust, toss it at your gingerbread man, and notice where it's falling. And so for me, when I look at that, I feel like it is sitting really on the right-hand side of my spine, not the whole spine, but more on the right-hand side of the spine. Our bladder meridian runs very close to that area. So it makes me wonder if what I'm seeing is actually the reflection of the bladder meridian. The bladder meridian has to do with fear. The bladder has to do with fear. And a lot of people know I'm working on a house right now, redoing a house, and it's been it's been a lot overwhelming, you know, and I could see where the underlying energy to the overwhelm is me being scared because it's a big freaking project. Anyway, so I'm going through, ugh, and I am cleaning out that black energy. And allowing it to go down my grounding cord. And if you're done with this side of your gingerbread man, go ahead and take a couple of nice deep breaths and notice how that feels to your body, how that feels to you. Are you noticing a change or a shift in what's going on? Ooh. And when you feel ready, maybe move your hands around or move your body around and open your eyes and come back to the room. That, my friends, is deprogramming, and you can use it for any emotion that you want to, that is challenging for you, and you just don't really understand where it's coming from or why it's there or whatever, because you don't really need to understand it. It's just more a matter of moving it out. Okay, so I'm going to do my regular thing, my little announcements, and we are going to get started by opening up the chat line. So again, if you are interested in getting a medical intuition evaluation, have an intuitive counseling session with me, or get some energy work done, please visit my webpage, soulhealer.com. That's soulhealer.com. You can get all of my books, which come autographed if you purchase them from me versus getting them from Amazon. There's articles, there's all kinds of stuff there. So please do go by. And if you do go by, don't forget to sign up for my newsletter at soulhealer.com. I would really appreciate it and appreciate you if you would do that. So I don't know where you're hearing this show, but you can join it at Dr. Rita Louise -live on Facebook. That's my Facebook group. I post a lot of stuff to that, a lot of self-healing, self-awareness type things. So if that's something you're interested in, please join the group, Dr. Rita Louise -live on Facebook. It's an open group, open to the public. I would love to have you. If you're more of a YouTube person, it's Just Energy Radio on YouTube. Please like, subscribe to my channel, set up the notifications so it'll keep you informed. And now we officially are on Twitter. It's Dr. Rita Louise on Twitter. Please follow and subscribe to my channel there. So on Twitter, okay, and I would love one of you, if you are a Twitter person, to go on there and do the chat, because I haven't had anybody use the chat. I would really like to see if it's going to show up. It's supposed to. It's supposed to. You can also hear the show on Rumble. I'm Psychic Doc on Rumble. Okay, so I'm going to go and say hi to everybody, and we will go from there. Okay, so hi, Amy and Wendy. Wendy, I really am curious what your thoughts are. Otto, hey Otto. Okay, so Otto wants to know what you do with the purple dust. It's like you throw it at yourself. That's what you do. And Chris is here. Hey Chris, thanks for coming. And Denise, hi Denise, thank you for being here. So what did you guys think of this exercise? I think it's pretty cool. You know, many times, Lola's here. Lola has like the cutest babies, although they're not like babies anymore because I just haven't seen her in like a million years. Hey, Lola. So any commentary from the peanut gallery? You know, one of the things that deprogramming, well, I mean, I said this, you know, it gives you the opportunity to pick very specific things. And sometimes when you go, okay, I want to work on anger. And as you start doing it, you might not detect a lot of anger. But also, as you're doing it, you might get more clarity that really the issue is resentment and not anger. And so you can kind of shift it around and just pick a different emotion and do the magic purple dust. And another piece of it is really about having that grounding cord and allowing that energy that you have been holding on to let it go and release it from your body, from very specific areas of your body. Okay, so Amy has a comment. Amy says, exercise will calming to the feelings of anxiety I wanted to rid. Thank you. So I'm glad that it was calming. And my thought is that if you use this exercise, I don't want to say on a regular basis, but if you work with this exercise, and specific emotions, given time, you're going to shift your energy in your body so that you're not plagued by it as much, or maybe you'll understand it better and make different choices as to what you're going to do with it. So that's my hope. Okay, so so Otto moved from YouTube to Facebook because I'm like, moved at Facebook, but now you're Otto. So yay. Hey. All right. So Chris, hey Chris. It was great. The purple dust covered my mom. By the end, it covered all around her, and I saw her as energy. Thank you. All right. So Chris, you didn't do you didn't do yourself, you did your mom. I mean, I don't really have an issue with that you did your mom. So I'm curious, with you doing your mom, what energy, what emotion were you working on, or were you just working on getting your mom out of your space, which is totally different, but I'm just very curious. And so Amy and now Chris, since you both commented, and anyone else that did the exercise, Denise, Wendy, where did you notice the energy in your body? Was it sitting more in one spot versus another? I would just be curious to hear what your observations were. Okay. You guys are being very quiet tonight. Very quiet. One of the ways that you can tell that an emotion isn't really like, it doesn't have any hold over you, whether it has hold over you or doesn't have hold over you, is how much of the black you see when you throw the magic purple dust. Because if you do it and you see this big old glob, it means that you have a lot of energy invested in hanging on to it. Okay. It's not that it's good. You're hanging on to it. And that's not necessarily a good thing. But if you do it, so maybe, you use jealousy as your word and you throw it and there's like one little spot because you're not really a jealous person. And, it's kind of like, oh, okay, I can move on. Okay, so Denise says, I didn't do it correctly, I guess. And it's not that you didn't do it correctly, Denise, because it's impossible to do some of this incorrectly. It felt similar to meditation to me rather than releasing emotion. I couldn't really visualize the purple dust. Very calming, though. And Denise, when you do energy medicine, and we've talked about this on the show before, anything that you do that focuses your mind on a specific item, whether it's a mantra, whether it is looking at a candle, whether it is doing energy work, it is a form of meditation, but this one is, yeah, you don't necessarily feel like you're letting go of the emotion. And it's not designed to do that, but it's helping you identify and clear that out. And when you do energy work, I mean, there are places, Denise, I know we've done sessions together, and so I'll sit there and talk about, oh, well, you have this energy kind of stuck here, or you have this energy here. And, I'm going to clear this out. Oh, I've noticed this energy around your heart. And I'm just kind of making this up, Denise, and I'm going to go ahead and clear that out. And so it's the same idea. And so this is looking at it from an emotional point of view versus just energetic congestion. And even when energetic congestion, that is probably an emotion that's stuck, the person doesn't necessarily experience that emotion. But what they are having the opportunity to do is to let it go. If that makes sense. Tell me it makes sense. Please. Okay, so Marco's here, except Marco didn't say hi to me first. He said hi to Amy. Amy, I think Marco's in love with you. Oh, see, now he says hi to Denise and me. All right, so Amy says, not a lot of blackness, little spot on the right side of my head, left hip, and my ankles and top of feet. Okay. And maybe there's not a whole lot of charge to that emotion for you, or, maybe there is a similar, parallel, slightly different shift to that emotion. When I'm working with people and I'll sit there and I'll say, well, it's this, and it's kind of like this, and I can feel like I'm close, like it's kind of, well, I can't even think of an example, but it's kind of like this, and I'm like, I can feel that I'm close to the vibration, but I'm not hitting it. And so I will sit there and shift words around until I hit the word that feels right. So perhaps there was just a little blackness because it wasn't the right or the exact word for you to use to clear the emotion that you were wanting to clear, if that makes sense. I think it did. All right, so Chris said, okay, so she said yes. So I'm going back, Chris. So she put, it was great. The purple energy covered my mom. By the end, it covered all around her, and I saw her as energy. Oh, so the yes is you were moving your mom out of your space? Well, that's kind of interesting. I've never used the magic purple dust to move somebody else's energy out of my body, but I could see how it would work. So another purpose. Thank you very much. Okay. So Marco said, did that on purpose to see you get jealous. It worked. Marco, what am I going to do with you? What am I going to do with you? Anyway, so what else is going on with you guys? I know I've had a lot going on. Okay, I have another question since no one's commenting, which I'm going to get on your cases about. So this is a topic we have been talking about several times. How has the energy been for you lately? And I'm talking about the last few days. I feel like that the last few days, it's kind of backed off. I have actually felt really good and not weird energy. So have things shifted, because a few weeks ago, a month ago, it was brain crazy, can't ground, can't do anything. And I feel like it's just been so much better, at least, at least today. So if you've noticed that as well, please comment about it. Okay, so Wendy said, I tried to post on Twitter, but I got a weird message saying my account was suspended. But I could see and hear your show, just couldn't comment. Huh. Okay, thanks, Wendy. So Marco says, tell us what you have going on. Okay, I can do that, Marco, but hang on. And so Denise says, yes, it does make sense. Instead of visualizing magic dust, I'm trying to visualize a specific solution that I want to reduce the emotional charge. Thank you. And, when you're doing energy work, when you're doing psychic readings, the thing that okay, so I graduated from the Berkeley Psychic Institute. And so you start their training, and within the first couple of weeks, they're like, okay, there's a psychic fair this week, and you're required to work 6 hours each day. It was 2 days. I didn't freaking know anything. I only been in the program for 2 weeks. So I went to the information table and I'm like, okay, I don't know anything. So what am I supposed to do? And they said to me, when you do readings, and this includes energy work, it's all about being in kindergarten. So it's not about trying to make it do something. It's about having fun with it and having the experience and not trying to create a solution, because anytime we put the least bit of resistance into what we want, instead of allowing it to do what it's going to do. And that's why I like the gingerbread man, because it's kind of playful, and you throw the dust at it and you clean it up. It just kind of takes the seriousness off of it. And it makes it so that you're back in kindergarten and you're just having fun. And when you're not having fun and it becomes a serious matter, it doesn't work that good. I'm just saying, it doesn't work that good. It kind of hoses everything up. So have fun. Enjoy it. Okay, so Joe says, for me, terrible. Oh, the last few days. See, I'm like, got 2 conversations going on. See, that's really interesting, Joe, because for me, it's not that it's been perfect. There have been all kinds of weird, crazy things wanting to blow up in my face. And I'm like, oh, you want to blow up in my face? Okay, you're not gonna, and I've just been navigating it with this shockingly calm demeanor to it, which has been different, and I couldn't tell if that was just me because I've been doing so much work, or if that was just where the energy has shifted. So, Joe, are you navigating these things better than you perhaps would have done a year ago or 2 years ago? Even though like there's sucky stuff, like Monday, it was Monday morning at like 7:30, and I go onto my computer to print something, and it tells me your computer cannot start. Like there was some kind of error. Now, normally that would put me into meltdown mode and totally freaking out. But it didn't. I just navigated, and it's like, okay, and I came up with plan B, which wasn't really excited about, but I ended up getting the computer up and running, and I printed what I wanted and moved on without the meltdown. And it was like, wow, this is really cool. So Joe, I'm asking you that question. Yeah, crappy stuff went on, but did you navigate it differently? So Chris said, tough, I feel disoriented. Cry, wish I were there. Yeah, I had a cry day this week too. All right, so Otto says, the energy feels pretty good here in Ohio, but spring can't make up your mind here. Energy is good. I hear you about the spring can't make up its mind. I mean, we had some days that were like in the 80s, high 70s, low 80s. And then like at night it's 60 degrees, something like that. And then we had a couple of days that were like in the 30s and 40s. It's like, wait a minute, I just turned the heat off in my house, and I have to turn the heat back on and put the, a jacket on, and just, it can't make up its mind. All right, Amy says, I've been taking on stress from my son that moved here. Ooh. Hopefully it's going to get better soon, working together to move our new business forward. Any thoughts on me and two sons working together? Okay. You're not going to like what I have to say, Amy. And I'll say it this way. So, Florida son kind of has a bit of a chip on his shoulder. And I feel like he's kind of being a little narcissistic to you. And, acting like I know everything and I'm the marketing king and blah, blah, blah. And I feel like it's really kind of bugging you and maybe interfering with your flow. I feel like before, when it was just you and your other son, that there was just kind of this good give and take, and we're all chipping in to make this thing happen. And I feel like Florida son is trying to like boss everybody around and be in charge. And I'm feeling like that's not working for either of you. So I don't know if him being, if he's going to be able to back off, and if he can't back off as far as your zen, because this whole project has been about your zen and your other son's zen, then maybe he needs to go find a regular job, and allow you to do your thing. Okay, so Chris said, emotionally charged, feeling that. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, like on Monday, I was like practically crying, but not, I don't know. It's just been weird, like kind of all over the place. But the last couple of days have been pretty good. All right, so Otto says, we are having a new moon 11 days ago, so the energy was tough then. Yeah, it's been tough and weird all over the place. So, and I try not to sit there and go, well, it's the moon or this or that. I just know that this is what people are experiencing, and they're trying to figure out. To me, the most important part is to be able to separate out, is this me? Is this something that is going on in me and in my life? Or is this something that I'm picking up? So if there is a new moon, if there's solar flares, if there's whatever might be going on, but that's not me, I'm being affected by it. And sometimes just the ability to separate out, I'm being affected, makes it easier for us to be able to navigate it, even if we sit there and go, oh my God, that's right, Mercury is retrograde, and you're like, oh, we still got 2 more weeks. And you can navigate it better because there's an understanding that it's not me and my life. Okay, so Marco wants to know what kind of business Amy has. And then Wendy says, could I do the exercise by sprinkling the purple dust on an image of myself? Totally, or you can take a stuffed animal and use that, like put it in a chair and toss the magic purple dust at that. Whatever tool you need to work with is great. As you can see, when I'm working, my eyes are always closed, so it really doesn't matter exactly what it is because I'm not physically looking at it. I mean, even when I'm working with my clients, they're all on the phone, so it's not like I'm ever looking at them. But yes, you can do an image of yourself, Wendy. Whatever makes you feel more connected to yourself, and that exercise, I think, is perfectly good and appropriate. So Joe says she's sleeping the energy off. It's like, yeah, I know how you're doing that. Okay. So Amy says, because Marco wanted to know her business. Marco wants to get all in your business, Amy. She says, we're selling, so here's a pitch. We're selling homemade laundry powder. People locally are loving it. We are going online now. So everybody here, Amy is going online selling her homemade laundry powder. So Amy, when you have your webpage up and your product is available for sale, please come and we'll share the link as part of the live stream. Okay, so Amy says, yep, seeing that. And then she says, thank you, I agree. About the whole sun thing, the Florida sun thing. Well, and Amy, it's interesting because I feel like, you and your other son have really created this groove between each other. And I was just thinking of the conversation that we had, a month ago, 2 months ago, about your concern. And I am just feeling, no. I feel like it's a really good, and I'm going to use the word interdependence between the two of you, not codependent or dependent at all. I mean, it just feels so healthy. And so don't allow Florida sun to divert. Your energy is the most important thing. Curtis's energy is the most important thing. And if having those interactions causes your energy to go down or limit your ability to create this vision that the two of you have put together and are birthing, then you have to make that decision. Is this important to me? What about me? And obviously, not Florida sun should have an input in that because he is really co-creating this with you. And I really feel like he is co-creating it with you. Okay, so Chris says, ha, 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 that's great. I'm glad you're feeling well. Okay, thanks, Chris. So Otto says, do you have any anniversaries that might be bringing up stuff like the death of a parent or pet? So Bitsy's birthday was St. Patrick's Day, but it's not just me, Otto. It's people, and that's why I asked the question, because it's not just me. I mean, I talk to people, and I hear very similar things. And so when I'm noticing something different, I like to put it out there to see if other people are noticing something different. Like a couple of months ago, I did a show. The whole intro was about the weird, funky energy. I mean, I've done a few, and then someone made the comment, and then it stopped at 4:00 that Thursday. It stopped at 4:00. And I stopped and I thought about it for a second. And yeah, for me, it wasn't 4:00, it was 2:00. And I did notice at 2:00 that I felt way better. And there were 3, 4, 5 people that all said, yeah, it changed at 4:00. And so it's not just me. I mean, if I have a whole room full of people that are all going, yeah, it shifted, then obviously there's something going on. That's my position, and I'm sticking with it. Hey, Terrence, nice seeing you. So Jolene says, I have a loved one that's missing. Am I searching in the right area? Jolene, I'm going to take a look. This is really not my area of expertise. At all. So you're giving me this image and you're showing me like I'm looking this way. I am looking in this direction. And I'm going to make the assumption, but don't hold me to this. I'm just kind of interpreting this image. So let's say where you are is your home or some spot, and you're looking in this direction because this is where you think it is. And what I'm seeing is that it's actually to your right-hand side of that direction. So if where you're looking is north, really it is further to the east than where you're looking. But you have to obviously, geolocate yourself. But no, the feeling I get is you're not looking in the right direction. And don't ask me where I should look because I don't know. That's not my thing. All right. Amy says, thank you so very much for your support. Amy, I love you and your kids, and I just want the best for you and your laundry soap. All right. So Terrence says, I'm going through a gut-wrenching situation at the moment. Will there be any end to it in the immediate future? All right, hang on a minute, Terrence. Because I'm trying to figure out a way to reframe it. So the feeling that I get and that I want to communicate to you is to take on the thought that what this situation is not something that you can change. I feel like it's not that you're powerless to change it. I get the impression that this is going on with somebody else or somebody that's in your life, and the distraction is over here, and you're just kind of like, the unwitting bystander who's in the middle of it all. But I think if you just take on the position that you can't change it, and I don't feel like there's any talking to this person, like talking isn't going to fix it, and just kind of ride the storm out, and I'm going to add this caveat in. If what's going on and with this person, because I really feel like it has to do with a person, is not somebody that's close to you, a family member, spouse, child, whatever, then maybe it would be prudent to take a step back from what you're doing, if that makes sense. Oh, Otto said that was me who mentioned it was 4 o'clock. We'll see, Otto. So see, you're tapping into that energy also. So Jolene, did that help at all? Did that make sense to you with what you're looking for, the person you're looking for? All right, so Chris says, we are all energy here to create and learn different ways to see life. Amen, sister. That is so true. And so Sarah says, oh no, I've missed you. It's like, well, I missed you too. I mean, we have 6 more minutes, 5 more minutes. So if you have a question, Sarah, please feel free to ask. So this week we talked about deprogramming and actually did a deprogramming exercise. And deprogramming is about identifying where certain emotions and emotional energy sit in the body to give you the opportunity to let it go, to discharge it from those places. So if that's something you're interested in, please do, listen to the archive. Okay, guys, any more questions for me, comments about what's going on? Terrence, did that make sense? I know it's just really vague. Your question was a little vague, and if we were doing a one-on-one private consultation, I would ask a few questions to kind of put a box around it, so I really had a better idea of what the heck I was talking about. And some of it without you necessarily disclosing what's going on, because this is a public forum, I tend to feel a little more hesitant to just blurting out kind of all of what I'm getting. So I hope that's okay. But again, if you need help, please go to soulhealer.com and, schedule an appointment. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. There we go. That's better. So Sarah wants to know, what's your take on the meaning of dreams? So Sarah, I really don't have a take on the meaning of dreams. There are a lot of people that really don't like me. For the longest time, and I'm going to say up until the last few years, I'm the kind of person that I hit the pillow. Within 20 minutes, I'm fast asleep, and I will literally sleep through for 8 hours and not move. And I don't have dreams. I mean, I know I have dreams, but I don't ever remember my dreams. And if I do remember a dream, it's usually a really bad dream that wakes me up in the middle of the night, and then I remember it at least for a little bit. So it's not an area that I've studied at all because I have no reference point. I can't really like look at your dreams. I don't have my own dreams to interpret or play around with. And so I have no take on dreams. That's kind of sad, huh? So Chris says that this all makes sense. You're awesome. Thanks, Chris. You're awesome too. And I have to tell you, like that husband of yours thinks that, I don't know what he thinks, but he keeps apologizing to me, and just tell him to stop. Stop. And so Sarah Joe in the chat room says, on dreams, Google Carl Jung. There's also Betty Bethard, who wrote the Dream Book that came out in the 80s. It's kind of like the primer for dreams and dream interpretations. All right, so Denise says, and Denise, you're going to be my last one because you asked like a real question. I have been having an aching toe for a couple of days. Is this just an issue with my shoe? Okay. So I am feeling, and it could be an issue with your shoe. I mean, I would definitely try like wearing a different shoe. I am feeling like there is inflammation in the joint. And actually, very quickly, Denise, is it your big toe? If you could respond to that, that would be very helpful. But what I'm sensing is that there's inflammation in it. And so like kind of depending on how you walk, depending on how your shoes are fitting, it's being irritated. Now, it could be a chicken and the egg thing, that the shoe is making your foot irritated, but the irritation could also make your shoes be uncomfortable. That didn't work comfortable originally. Okay, little toe. All right, Denise, this is kind of weird. I'm not. Did you bang that toe? I mean, I feel like it like got pushed back, like almost, it's not jammed, but I feel like it was impacted. And so, I mean, if you could sit there and massage the toe, massage the joint, I would definitely put on looser feeling shoes to not restrict it and give it a chance to do its thing. They're saying it's going to be uncomfortable for, I'm going to say another 3 or 4 days, but there is definitely, I mean, there's inflammation in the joint right now, but I'm not feeling like it is inflammation. It just feels more jammed. So I'm not quite sure what you did to it, but it's going to be fine. But there is some inflammation in your big toe, which I want to just throw out. So anyway, all right. Say, hey, Mary, nice to see you, but we are going to go because it's that time. And so, oops, let's do this. So Denise says, I think it was overstretched with yoga toes. And yes, that could be it. Like I said, I feel like it'll be fine in a few days. It just feels bruised is the best way I can do it. Okay, so Jolene says, funny you said facing north, that I need to go east. That's my next step. Yay, Jolene, go east. All right, but now I really am going to go. Okay, so if you would like to get an amazing reading, psychic reading, intuitive counseling, medical intuitive evaluation, some energy medicine, we could do some deprogramming one-on-one, except I would use you and not, like a gingerbread man. soulhealer.com. Reach out to me and we can schedule an appointment. While you're there, don't forget to sign up for my newsletter. So I've had a few people make the comment that they didn't get an invite to the live stream. And if you do Facebook at all, you would understand why you might not get a notification, because if you have a lot of friends, it's just as cumbersome. They make it cumbersome. But if you sign up for my newsletters at soulhealer.com, every Thursday morning, you're going to get a reminder about the show. Please join my group, Dr. Rita Louise, live on Facebook. Like, subscribe, and set up notifications on YouTube at Just Energy Radio on YouTube. Follow me on Twitter. Now, you don't even have to go there. Just like go follow me. Same thing on Rumble, Psychic Doc on Rumble. If you have those accounts, just like me. I don't care if you use it or not. Just do it. And of course, you can get my great book, Dang, It Was Me All Along, where it'll be like you're hanging out with me and we're chatting, because that's what all those people seem to think. Anyway, guys, it has been a great show. And again, if you have any comments about topics that you would like for me to cover during the show, please drop me a message, send me an email, message me on Facebook, post it in the group, Dr. Rita Louise Live. And I don't know, till then, this is Thursday Night Live. I'm your host, Dr. Rita Louise. Till next week, be